evening. Hello. Welcome in. This is Off the Rails. My name is Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. And Dinger has finally, I'm not going to say finally, it's early, but the Dinger has launched. The bullpen is full. We're done with that. And now we're getting into like actual real drafting season, which is very, very fun. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm going to try my best to not cough as much as I can. Um, had a pretty rough battle with the flu like a week ago, and it's just kind of lingering. So I'll do my best to not, cough into the mic and blow your ears out. But anyway, um, we actually have quite a few contests to choose from if we want to. I'm going to draft a dinger tonight, but just to show y'all what we've got, let's do. Here we go. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. I don't like how that looks. Hold up. Sorry. Let's do this. There we go. Got it. All right. Sorry. I haven't done this in a minute. So here are the contests we've got right now. So our guy Numi really putting in work in the background behind the scenes to give us all these contests. So we've got the bunt already. The bunt is an awesome contest to just kind of get your feet wet and get acquainted with this format if you've not ever played before. It's only $3, 20 entry max, and I'll max all the bunts just because they're just fun contests, and it's only $60 to max them out, which is nice. I did 65 bullpens this year. Last year, I think I did 115. So I backed off those because I wanted to attempt to do more dingers this year. So let's take a look. Let's try to hop in one real quick and see what it's looking like as far as the number of people that we need. So I'm going to go and queue this up. And hopefully, perfect. We need 5 more, 4 more. This is beautiful. This is great. If you're tuning in live or even after the fact, thank you ahead of time for hopping in and hanging out. Just want to have a nice, fun place to draft with you guys. So it's always a good time, hopefully. This year, kind of using the same strategy as I did last year. I think that going pretty heavy on outfield and knocking that position out pretty quickly is pretty important. I'm not as enamored with zero pitcher. I think I need to define what zero pitcher really means here, but I'm not as enamored with waiting forever to get pitchers. I like to get at least 1 or 2 aces if I can. As I feel like if you have 6 bats and you start taking pitchers, I don't know that more bats necessarily help you when you've got like a 0-3-3 build or a 0-2-4 build. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plans out. I'm probably going to take it easy on the dinger drafts to start because I want, access to more projections and stuff like that. Obviously, we'll be waiting for the bat. That'll come out eventually. And our guy, Baseball at B3ISBOL on Twitter, X. If you do not follow him, make sure you do. He's one of the stacking dingers guys. So our guy Dark Sheep D4RKSH33P _ and Billy Jones SportsViz BJ. Those guys do the stacking dingers content, and you definitely need to check them out if you don't already. They've got a lot of great stuff. But I'm sure Chris at some point will make his handy dandy little spreadsheet for us. If not, it'll be out there eventually. Draft has started. I got the 9 slot. See some friendly faces in here. Crambra, nice to see you. My guy Bjorn Masterson's in here. Who else we got? FF Child, he's in here too. I know some of these. I recognize some of these names too. I just don't know if you have the same in like a Discord or whatever. But the 9-hole is what I thought was pretty nice in the bullpen. I hope that this goes the way that I think it's going to go. because I very much would like to start with one guy in particular here. I like to get out of the first 2 rounds with at least one outfielder if I can. Leaving without an outfielder in the first 2 rounds does not feel great. It's possible to recover, but it feels pretty difficult. So we'll see what happens here. But I think as time goes on, I would not be surprised to see Ellie's price dip in this contest. Like he stayed pretty consistent in that like 5-6 hole in the bullpen. I just feel like as more stuff comes out, as more content comes out, like I feel like people are going to get more on board with the fade Ellie train. I'm going to go ahead and take one of my favorite first rounders, and that's Tatis. He feels, I mean, he's at 9, right? So like, how underpriced can one be? But I would basically take the first 3, obviously Ohtani, Judge, Soto. I took quite a bit of Tucker in the bullpen. I don't know how much of him I'll get to eventually, but like you could easily make an argument that Tatis should be above these 4 guys who went ahead of him, and I wouldn't blanket that. Nick, how's it going? Crew, I saw your message earlier, just didn't highlight it. Yes, Tatis good. I agree with that. Robbie, what's up, man? Thank you for popping in. Crew just had Tatis slip to 14 at a bunt. In a bullpen, I got Jordan and Tatis on one team. That was exceedingly fun. I enjoyed that very much. I would like that to happen on a very regular basis. So we've got I was kind of hoping Julio would make it back to me. FF Child, just too sharp. Let's do a Tatis Schwarber start. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Let's do Tatis Schwarber. It's really hard to pass up at J-Ram, though. It's 16. I don't know what to do. Let's do it. Let's do Tatis J-Ram. Here we go. Get a little bit of a price decrease or discount on J-Ram, who is going that like 11, 12 spot by and large. Back half seems nice as long as Ohtani Judge don't go for $1 million. Yeah, I don't really love, like if the first round goes your way in the 11th or 12th hole, like I'm cool with it. Like FF Child here. If if Jay Sakura had taken J-Ram, right? Like how good do you feel taking Carroll and J-Rod back to back? Like that feels like an amazing start. But if the draft does not go the way that you want to and you're stuck with 2 infielders, granted they're going to be amazing infielders, but like again, it does not feel good leaving the first round without at least one outfielder. In that spot, I just went with Ramirez because, you're not very often going to be able to get him at 16. Tatis at 9 is so nice after the first 6 minus Ellie. He's my fave, says Robbie. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you can make a pretty easy case for that. Tatis feels like the guy who's underpriced. It's almost like the Acuna thing from 23. That was the first year I did best ball. I don't remember where Acuna was going. I think it was like 3, 4, 5, something like that. So he wasn't cheap, but like Tatis has that profile, the power speed combination that's like Acuna-esque. Like he's not going to steal as many bases, but it just feels like a dude that could just completely and totally bury you if you fade him out of that first round. So he's definitely one of my preferred targets. I don't like doing the star method to like keep track of stacks and stuff. First off, with San Diego, like I don't really love the stack period. If I can get Jackson Merrill, then great. I highly doubt that that's going to happen here, but if I can, it'd be awesome. But Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado are like the 2 main stacking partners with Tatis. You can do Cronenworth at the very end of the draft, which, I mean, there's definitely worse picks than Jake Cronenworth in the 20th round. But it's really hard to get like the full San Diego stack. So I'm not really too worried about the star method there. Cleveland, there's really not many guys that I want out of them. Am I stupid? Guardians? Hold on a second. Why isn't it searching? Am I dumb? I am dumb. Can't figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm a little rusty, guys. You know, it happens. But there's not many like stacking partners in Cleveland that I really care about. Like, you can take a shot on Kyle Manzardo at the very end, or like John Kensey Noel. Stephen Kwan is just a guy I don't draft in this format. Like, I'm just not going to go that direction. So probably not going to be much stacking for me with these two, but we'll see how it all unfolds. Coming up, this is a change. So Jazz Chisholm was listed as an outfielder in the bullpen contest, and now he is an infielder. And my initial like super early gut reaction to that is, I think Jazz is probably like borderline undraftable for me, for how I like to build teams and how like it all works out. Like, if I start with Judge and he gets back, like maybe we can do a stacking partner type thing. Let's make this pick real quick. So we've got Tatis and J-Ram to start. Let's go with I really want to have fun with James Wood, but man, 34 is that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. Let's have fun. Let's have fun with the youngster and go with James Wood. We'll see what happens. I'm probably not going to get to him too much because that price is pretty brutal, but God, he looks good. He looks amazing. Who is protecting J-Ram? It's a good question. Carlos Santana. Anybody interested? And I'm hearing silence. Nobody. Okay, got it. That I don't get that. I don't get that signing at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. Guardians are going to Guardian. Robbie drafted Swellenbach in his first draft. Any guesses where his ADP might end up? I am not a good ADP prognosticator guy. I think that he's going to be one of those fantasy darlings who probably winds up going higher than he should. I just don't know where should is, you know. I like to target pitchers who have a ton of strikeout stuff. And again, I'm only looking at, last year. He's a little over a strikeout per inning. That's definitely doable. So I don't know. I think I'm on him. I'm just going to kind of let the market settle a little bit and kind of see what happens. Here, I think I'm going to go with Santander. He doesn't currently have a team. Last time I was with Dark Sheep, Dark Sheep's been gracious enough to have me on his stream a couple times recently, which is always a great time. But he was saying like he feels like Santander fits on basically any team, and I agree with that. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I think that he would be a great fit in like Toronto's lineup. He's not going to go back to Baltimore because they signed Tyler O'Neill, so I think that ship has sailed. But like Santander just has power, and power is primarily what I like to chase in this format because home runs do a lot. Home runs can really, really carry your team. So not sure where he's going to land, but feel like a 40 price tag on him is pretty solid. Probably going to miss out on my guy Mike Trout on this draft. I'm going to wind up with a lot of him probably. I got to about 32, 33%, something like that in the bullpen. And I'm just going to keep drafting him. And I just don't care that he's had trouble staying healthy. He's still Mike Damn Trout, and he still hits the ball very, very hard on a very consistent basis when he's out there. And for this type of format and this type of contest, I just care about ceiling outcomes for the most part. Like, not with everybody, but he just feels like a guy that if he can finally just stay on the field for a full season, you don't want to miss out on him. I think that would be a grave mistake. Crew was talking about his ADP should fall quite a bit being an infielder, at least I would think. I'm not 100% sure who I was talking about. Oh, Jazz. That's definitely about Jazz. I agree. I expect Jazz's price to drop pretty significantly. In my head, that's like a round and a half, maybe. I don't know. But him losing that outfielder tag definitely it's going to hurt his draft stock for sure. So, if you guys are really nice, you just okay, never mind, Cranberry, you just entered my life. So I was going to say, if you're really nice, you could just let me have Trout, but that's okay. I'll go cry in the corner. It's fine. Whew, muted the old mic for that one. Let's see. So far, guys, drafting out of the 9-hole, I've made 4 picks. Started with Tatis, then got J-Ram at 16, James Wood at 33, and Anthony Santander at 40. This is a really fun range of players in general. I definitely like to target outfielders in this range. Trout. I think Adolis Garcia is a little too cheap. I've been out on him the last 2 years because he was way too expensive. It's all right, Cranbra. I don't blame you for doing the right thing and drafting Mike Trout. All right, you're good. We're cool. But yeah, Adolis Garcia feels too cheap. To me, Lawrence Butler is way too expensive. Like, he was so fun last year and looked amazing. But guys, I don't know. I might have drafted him once in the bullpen. And when you look at like who he's going around, Trout, Adolis, Ozzie Albies, Garrett Crochet, Garrett Cole, like, these are a lot of names that I want to have a piece of. So I'm gonna take my screen down here in a minute after I make this pick because I want to get the draft board up. Got a new monitor recently. I'm still trying to figure it all out. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with an infielder here. Marcus Semien feels too cheap. Like, he wasn't incredible last year. Or do I just say F it and just go full bore with the outfield? Let's do it. I'm going to go Christian Yelich. He feels way too cheap right now. I am worried about his injury issue from last year lingering. Believe it was a back issue, right? Yeah. So back issues are always concerning, but Christian Yelich in the mid-60s feels like a pretty solid play. So let's talk about build and strategy here. I've got 4 outfielders and 1 infielder through 5 rounds. I need to shut off outfielder for a while. I think taking another outfielder before round like 14 or 15 would probably be stupid. Because if 2 of these guys fail, like, this team's dead anyway. So having another outfielder right now isn't really gonna help me at all. So let's see what comes back to us. I know what I'm gonna do here. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. You always have a plan, right? And then it gets interrupted. I don't really know why I'm getting Blake Snell at 64. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Any Dodgers pitchers kind of worry me with, like, they're gonna be so good that they're not gonna need all of their pitchers to throw like a normal schedule. So I could definitely see them going with a 6-man rotation, limiting guys' innings here and there. But Blake Snell's got a tremendous amount of upside start to start. So getting him an 11 ADP discount, which ADP doesn't really mean much right now, but I don't know that I was getting him in the mid 60s very often. So just go ahead and do it in this first draft. Real quick, I'm going to try to get my screen fixed here. Try this one more time. All right, let's see if this works. I know. Come on. Aha. There we go. Draft board. Sweet. Got it. Man, got to do the streaming thing more often. Get used to this again. My guy Bjorn, ready for Alonso to join the Mets and pair up by Soto teams. Yes, that would be lovely. Alonso feels a little too cheap right now, but as soon as he signs, I'm sure his price is going to go up. Bjorn, thanks for running the stream tonight. Perfect way to start the season. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for coming, because you could be doing literally anything right now, and you're hanging out here drafting with me. So I really, really appreciate that. As always, man, thank you. And Robbie and I are simpatico on this. Find myself stacking Texas quite a bit. Team is too talented to be bad again. 100%. Texas is Texas so far is my favorite stack on the board. I have a ton of Seager and Adolis and, fingers crossed, Evan Carter. I got a ton of Josh Young. I started getting some Peterson. I started getting some Berger. Like, I've been drafting the Rangers a lot in the bullpen, and I plan on continuing that trend. Another team that I think could be like, and I really need projections to come out, but aren't the Angels going to be kind of sneakily good on offense? I don't know if it's sneaky. I just feel like we're used to the Angels as being bad because they're a poorly run franchise. But Trout, Soler, Nolan Schanuel is like an on-base guy. Doesn't have much power, but Neto looks good. Luis Rengifo, I'm not going to draft him, but like, I feel like the Taylor Ward, didn't even mention him. I feel like the Angels could be like kind of a decent offense, and they're pretty easy to stack together. So with how much I've been drafting Trout, I have quite a few Angel stacks. I just hope that when projections come out, they kind of back up my suspicion or whatever that they could be a sneaky stack. So y'all can tell me if they're not sneaky, if I'm just, telling you something you already know. But this is a slam dunk Tristan Cassis pick for me. I just feel like this is going to be his breakout year, and I don't have anything to go off on that other than like, he's a top prospect. He's looked really, really good in short bursts. Had an injury-riddled season last year. I think this could be the year where he really pops off. So I'm gonna take him. Cramba is a green. Top 5/6 of the Angels lineup is pretty good, assuming they stay healthy. Yeah, I mean, obviously the stay healthy thing, with Mike Trout involved is pretty big ask. But yeah, I think they could breathe. I think they could be pretty solid. There we go. Talking is hard, guys. Okay, lay off me. excuse me. Like, my heart wants me to take Ward here, but I can do that later. I don't have anybody to stack him with. I'm just going to do the Matt McClain thing, who I have a lot of in the bullpen. Um, he just feels good at 88. Well, I mean, his ADP is in the 90s right now, but like, another guy who was hurt last year, who I know there's a good chunk of us in the Discord who were very in on him, and then his shoulder exploded, so that sucked. I didn't have much of him last year, but I'm definitely getting there this year. I'm a believer. The Cincinnati lineup should be good. It's a great ballpark to hit in. He should play every day. The little note for him says that he's been playing more center field in like the AFL. So I think they're going to find a way to get him in the lineup every day. So, and I would assume he's going to bat towards the top. I need to look into like projected batting orders and stuff a little bit more. So far, like, I've just been drafting off vibes, like, just this feels good. Let's go ahead and do it. So it's one of the reasons why I backed off the bullpen more was I want to be drafting with information and projections and stuff a little bit more this year than I did last year. It's just it's really hard to not draft because it's just so much fun to me. Like, I just love the act of drafting a team. Like, when I was a kid, I would get like MLB The Show every year, and I don't remember which one it was particularly, and I don't want to date myself too much because it would be like, oh, it was definitely MLB The Show 1999. No, jerks. But I would literally just like queue up franchise mode and just do drafts in the game and just like try to have like the best pitching staff here, or the best batting order, or best overall team, or whatever. And I would just like send out a season, and then I would just do a draft again. So I've been just drafting baseball teams for years. Just, I don't know. I find it fun. Just how I am. I see some people don't like it, and to each their own. But to me, it's just awesome building a team of baseball players. I don't know. All right. Let's recap the team so far. I'm about to make my 9th round pick. So far, I've got a 1-3-4 build. So my 1 pitcher is Blake Snell. My 3 infielders are Jose Ramirez, Tristan Casas, and Matt McClain. And then the outfielders are Tatis, James Wood, Santander, and Yelich. So probably going to be a target pitching area for me right here. We'll see. I don't know what to do with Tyler Glasnow. Like, I've drafted him a good chunk. Like elbow stuff, especially with a guy who just can't, like 134 innings is the most innings he's thrown in like maybe ever. I'm just going to go with a guy who I think is just too cheap, and that's just Zach Gallen. Like, Zach Gallen's just a very good Zach Gallen is just a very good pitcher. And I think we can count on him for quite a few innings. It just feels like just a stable piece in your rotation at this point. A few guys in this range that I got to a lot in the bullpen. Really quite a bit of Gallen, a ton of Royce Lewis. Grayson Rodriguez is my highest owned pitcher. It came in just under 40% on him, actually, which is kind of a crazy number for me for pitchers because I like to stay minimally exposed, I guess, because pitcher injuries are usually more devastating than position player injuries. But those are just kind of some of the guys that I've been targeting this range. That being said, let's go ahead and do Royce Lewis. whether unfair or not, he's been tagged with the can't stay healthy uh, title, I guess. And I mean, for good reason. Like literally the first game of last year, like it was almost comical to a point. Like talking about him all year, got super hyped up, was going pretty high in drafts, super, super excited about him. And in the first game, like the fourth inning, I don't even know if it was the fourth inning, but the first game of the year, he hurts himself and he misses weeks. And it was just like, you know, not funny, but like kind of funny, you know what I mean? Like not actually funny, just kind of like, of all the things that could happen, haha, I won't sound like a terrible person, but it was kind of funny. Billy Jones showing up. What's up, man? How are you? Billy and I will get together at least once or twice, I'm sure, this year to do a stream. I just wanted to get a little more experience and get more comfortable running this clown show before I asked him to join me. But love drafting with Billy. Last year, last time we got together, it was on his channel. And we drafted guys. I'm not kidding. This team, if it wasn't the highest scoring team in the entire contest, it had to have been like top 10. Like the amount of points that his team scored in the regular season portion of the contest last year was absolutely insane. Of course, pretty sure that team went out in the first round of the playoffs because that's just how this works. You can have the best team ever, and then Brendan Nemo is just ass for 2 weeks, which is exactly what happened. Not blaming the whole thing on him, but like, weird stuff happens in the playoff rounds. But that was a really fun team to draft with Billy. So when we get together again this year, we'll go ahead and draft the best team in the contest again. So, but he said he loves the Adley bounce back this year. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, he feels a little too cheap, but like when you get to that Adley range, so he's in the 100 to 125 range, whatever. There's just a lot of guys that aren't Adley Rutschman that I really, really like in that range. Like, I like having fun, taking some Spencer Strider. I really like Hunter Brown. I really like Zach Gallen. I like Glasnow quite a bit. I have quite a bit of Soler in the bullpen. Obviously, this just opened today. So, Royce, Grayson, like Tanner Bybee. There's a lot of guys, Shane McClanahan, Kodai Senga. There's a ton of guys in this range that I really, really like. And so I'm never like, ooh, let me go ahead and draft Adley Rutschman real quick. It just isn't happening. So Adley's probably going to be a fade for me. It's not a fade of the player. It's just like there's just other guys I would like to have. Kramer commenting that we will get some juicy best shape of his life quotes about Royce in a month. Yeah, we will. We will believe. 244 build. Excuse me, sorry. Let's go back to the Carlos Rodon. Well, I was all in on him last year. And he wound up being like kind of perfect for this format because like he'd have a start or two where you're like, does this dude even know what he's doing? Like it would just be brutal. And he would just be dominant out of nowhere. We can stomach that this late. I mean, this is a guy who is approaching 200 strikeouts, threw quite a bit of innings last year, 175. His strikeouts were down from his last full season of 2022. But I don't know. He just feels like a guy who's great for this format with potential week-to-week scoring. I've been getting to a lot of him and a lot of Joe Ryan in this range. I feel like Joe Ryan is underpriced as well. Sandy Alcantara is a guy that I don't really know what to do with. Like I want to believe, but I don't know I don't know what to do with him. I've been drafting him here or there. I probably will continue to do so. I'm just not like overly confident in it, you know? So we'll see what happens. That being said, I'm going to draft Sandy Alcantara. I guess Alcantara. I just like at the time of making that pick, I had a 3-4-4 build. Like I feel good about my infield with Jose Ramirez, Tristan Cassis, Matt McClain, and Royce Lewis. I feel great about that, especially if they're healthy. Okay. The outfield, Tatis, James Wood, Santander, Christian Yelich. I feel great about that if the team stays healthy. So like with this particular team, does Yandy Diaz do much for it? Does Jackson Holiday do much for it? Isaac Paredes, like he's going to be fun in Houston, but does he do much for it? Does JJ like it's just one of those things that it felt like I needed a pitcher in that spot because to this point I'm feeling pretty solid about the infield and the outfield, and I don't want to go into round 14 with 3 pitchers. That does not feel great to me, honestly. Crew's saying what do the Marlins have to do at this point? Hopefully they just run him out there every chance they get. Maybe he gets traded. I mean, if he's good, if he's healthy and good, I would be floored if they didn't trade him because, like, I mean, what are the Marlins going to do? Nothing. They're not going to be good. I don't know. I'm with you. They'll probably, I mean, if they were smart, they would just trot him out there for like 6-7 innings max each start and be like, oh, hey, look how good he is. And look how healthy he is. And then trade him for a killing to somebody else. Yeah, he's a workhorse. He's a workhorse. Just don't know how he's going to respond to bouncing back from that injury. So. Thank you for bearing with me while I fight this lingering cough. I could have waited till it went away. I was like, I waited long enough, and the dinger opened, and I just love hopping on here and drafting with you guys. You can come in here. Like it's always fun to draft with people I talk to on Twitter and Discord and stuff, and compare notes on teams and talk about strategies and stuff like that. So. If you guys have any questions for me, I like to approach this like this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm planning on drafting a team or drafting a portfolio of teams. I'm not like gonna flag plant and be like, oh, Jonathan India is trash. Like, I don't really care that much about player takes. It's just I always go back to when I first started taking DFS seriously. This was probably like 4 years ago. I was playing daily MLB contests on a pretty regular basis. Real quick to make this pick, let's just dive into the black abyss, the black hole of pain and suffering, and draft Nolan Jones. I think that sounds fun. Guys, if he stays healthy, maybe he won't be terrible. I don't know. We'll see. It feels better drafting him in the 13th round than it did in the 3rd round last year. I can tell you that damn much. So, but anyway, so if you guys, I'm not gonna probably not gonna come out with super strong player takes like, oh, this guy's amazing or this guy's bad. I'm just like trying to build teams. Oh, where I was going with that. When I first started playing DFS, I was watching Jordan Cooper, Blender HD. And he had this show, and he still might have it, I don't know. Basically just like teaching people how, like game theory works and stuff like that. And I was brand new-ish to DFS. Like I was just like, don't you just play the best plays? Like, duh. That's not how it works. But he would always say, and I'm paraphrasing here, we are not picking players, we're building lineups. And I think about that a lot when I'm drafting these contests. Like, I'm not necessarily married to players. I'm just trying to construct a team that I think in that particular draft, I'm trying to figure out how is this team best positioned for success. That's kind of how I approach it. I don't know about you guys, but around here we love tight pants. So Robbie Ray, come on down. Um, I was completely out on him for a while, and then did a couple drafts with Dark Sheep, and he kind of got me in on him again. So he and his tight pants are just gonna hop in this pitching rotation of mine. He is perfect for this format. Like, some of his starts, I mean, he just looks clueless and walks like 7 people. We don't really care about those starts, like, as long as he doesn't have, 15 of them. But when he's really, really good, he's like really, really good. And so I'm going to take some shots at Robbie Ray in this contest for sure. Bjorn's asking, have you ever tried a full pitcher punt starting with 12 hitters and ending with 8 pitchers? I don't think so. Last year, I might have done like a couple drafts where it was something like that. I don't know. I just feel like the board doesn't necessarily set itself up to do that very well, in my opinion. And I think if you're, like you said, starting with 12 hitters and ending with 8 pitchers, so you're obviously committing to an 8-6-6 build. And that's fine. I don't mind 8-6-6 builds here and there, but I don't know that I've ever done that. Guys, it's so hard for me to get out of this like 80 to 120 range, 80 to 125, let's call it. It's really hard for me to get out of there without having 3 pitchers, honestly. Like, that just feels like such a sweet, like, it feels like you almost can't miss in that range. Truly. Granted, everyone around you really can't miss either, but I don't know. There's just a lot of guys in that range, like starting with DeGrom and ending with Shane McClanahan or Kodai Senga. Like, it's just so hard for me to resist that pitching. And your bats should be fine by the time you get there. Like, I like to build a foundation of like, I've got 5 or 6 bats that I know are like, okay, these guys are going to be fine. If they fail, then, that team's kind of dead. It's just like, if you start with a 0-3-3 build, I don't know, what does another infielder or outfielder at that particular point in the draft do for you when you've got, potential aces like McClanahan and Senga and stuff hanging around? I don't know. That's just kind of how I draft. It's kind of how I plan on keep drafting. So, my guy Bjorn Masterson here, grabbing who I think, honestly, of course, we need projections. Okay. But it feels like Max Muncy might be like the Matt Chapman from last year, who's just so obviously mispriced. And he's going to hit in the middle of a Dodgers lineup. And I don't I know why he's in the 170s. It's because, he was hurt last year. That spooked people. But man, that feels like a really nice price on him. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Excuse me. I'm going to take Tommy Edman. I don't know that I like that, honestly. Tommy Edman doesn't like excite me necessarily, but he should play every day, and he's going to be playing for the Dodgers. So I would venture to guess that his spot in the batting order is going to suck. Like, he'll be batting 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that, most likely. I do I do like this Dodgers back stack. Like, will this work now? Yeah, there we go. So especially if you start with like an Otani or a Betts, right? In that first round, second round for Betts. Teoscar just signed recently. Freddie Freeman, like obviously you want to, if you can get 2 or 3 of these guys together, that's awesome. But late in the draft, like Muncy, Edman, I don't know that I believe in the Conforto thing, guys. So I'm not going to say his name, but Will Smith, like the Dodgers back stack feels really, really nice. Really, really nice. I did quite a bit of that, I think, in the bullpen contest. We're gonna play the hits, and you know what? This feels like a 6 outfielder team with how much draft capital I spent on the outfield. So yeah, let's play the hits here. I'm gonna go with Josh Young. The only thing I'm worried about with him right now is that wrist. But if he's healthy, like he's just a very, very good hitter. I've said it on numerous streams so far. Like 2023, he was on pace to win the Rookie of the Year, and then got hurt, and then last year hurt again with wrist issues or whatever. Wrist issues are always scary, but I don't know. He feels like a guy that, like, if that Texas offense takes off, like how does he not get a big part of that? I know they just signed Jock Peterson. I know they acquired Jake Berger. I would be really surprised if the Rangers gave up playing time for Josh Young for Jake Berger. Like, you just have one of them DH. Like, I don't know. Just the departure of Nathaniel Lowe. Like, maybe they teach Berger how to play first. I don't know. I truly don't know. But I would be surprised to see Young lose at bats in that lineup. So I really think that he's a great price, and he is one of my highest owned guys so far. He's just one of those guys that, like, I'm just guessing on because we don't have much in the way of projections, but it feels like a decent bet. So see what the bat says on him when it comes out. But to further my point about the build here, they made I have such a hard time saying this guy's name, Rafaela. I believe he was an infielder in the bullpen contest, so him getting outfield eligibility here is kind of nice. He had a solid year last year, close to 2020 year. That's not bad, for a 16th, 17th round guy. So far, Gavin Williams in the bullpen, like, he wound up being like a 19th, 20th round guy, almost exclusively 20th rounder as it's closed. And I have done 2 drafts, just 2 in the dinger, and he's gone a lot earlier than that, which I'm cool with because I think Gavin Williams is probably going to be great. He's going to play every day. He's young. Getting him at a pretty massive discount from his ADP. Let's just do it. Let's get Rafaela in the lineup, and that's going to do it for outfielder, I think, most likely. This definitely looks like a 7-7-6 build. I could do 7-6-7 though. Yeah, 60% Gavin Williams for Robbie. The 215 ADP was like, that dude's got really, really good stuff. And we saw it a little bit in the postseason last year. Like, he kind of flashed it. So it just feels like one of those dudes down here that, like, I'd bet on him breaking out. Like Chris Bassett's nice and boring. Like you know what you're getting out of him, but like I don't know that I believe in the Shane Baz thing. I don't know how many innings they're going to give him. Um, Nick Lodolo can't stay on the field, but he's okay. I don't know. Just like out of all these arms that are down here, it's like Gavin Williams to me just feels like the guy. All right. That being said, I do need a pitcher here. I think I will just take. It's so boring. Should we have fun or should we be boring? We should probably have fun. Is Nick Lodolo fun? Would he classify as fun for you guys? Let's do it. Let's do Nick Lodolo. I like his strikeout stuff. I hate his park, obviously. Chris Bassett, I feel like he's been in the league for 28 years. But he's going to go out there and he's going to throw 170 to 190 innings. And like, I don't think you could draft Chris Bassett at 200 and at the end of the season, you're looking back like, oh, that was a wasted pick. Like, it feels pretty safe to me. But let's just go with the Lodolo thing and hope for the strikeouts. Karamba hates the Cleveland pitching lab. Yeah, they just churn out pitchers year after year. Tanner Bybee is one of my favorite guys to draft. One of my favorite picks. I feel like his price is like pretty solid, but I also think that he could exceed. I think that he could be a pretty nice value there. So, yeah, Cleveland just develop pitching, man. That's what they do. Bobby grabbing one of my favorites, Brandon Lau. I don't know why, but I got like 25% Brandon Lau in the bullpen. And guys, a mere almost half decade ago, he hit 39 home runs one time. So like, what else do you need? That's it. Case closed. Yeah. First Lau for you. Had to do it for the Tampa Bay stack. Yeah, I get it. You probably could have waited, but like, why? If you're wanting to do a stack, so who do you got here? You've got Josh Lowe. I love Josh Lowe. And Caminero. Just those three? Yeah. Nice little three-man. They're going to be playing in a minor league park this year. And just from what I have seen on Twitter or something, it sounds like that park may play really nicely for left-handed power. Brandon Lau has a lot of left-handed power. He's just, he's another one of those dudes who just can't stay on the field, cannot stay healthy. But I was looking at his Savant page, and I don't know, it looked pretty decent to me. It's just a matter of like him getting the at bats, staying healthy, and of course Tampa Bay does funky things with their lineup. So I don't know. I just like in the 19th, 20th round, I kind of just get enamored with 4 or 5 guys, and then I just kind of like mix and match them. That'll change probably once projections come out, because I'm sure that there's going to be 1 or 2 guys who are like screaming values. It's Yankee Stadium in the Florida heat. Okay, so that's very good for left-handed power. Another reason why we love some Josh Lowe. I think Josh Lowe is my most owned outfielder, period, so far. I have to look, but I'm like 95% sure that's the case. Him, Nolan Jones. I really don't feel good about that. Trout, Evan Carter. Those are some of the heavy outfielders that I've got. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't know why Merrill Kelly is a 19th rounder. That seems incorrect. Like, it's not like I love Merrill Kelly, but just feels a little too cheap. So we're going to go ahead and do it. Let's see. Okay. So I can do a couple things here. If he's here, I can take Cronenworth for the mini stack with Tatis. If I really, really wanted to play the hits, I could go with Garrett Mitchell as a final outfielder for a mini Milwaukee stack. I could do a mini Colorado stack with Tyler Estrada, who owes me a lot of money from last year. Let's see. If I wanted to get really crazy, we could do like a Trevor Story mini. I didn't draft him a single time, but I saw Boston and I was like, oh yeah, he exists. I mean, is Trevor Story washed? Like, I mean, it's kind of getting long in the tooth, isn't he? At this point. Well, I do have 2 Boston bats, so I could do the Story thing and have 3. I just like I don't. It's not like I necessarily believe in Trevor Story all that much. You know, we're just gonna see what grabs us when we get there. I'm probably gonna lean towards Cronenworth. Just feels like a steady, solid guy to have in your infield, especially this one with like, is Matt McLean going to bounce back nicely from the shoulder thing? Royce Lewis might always be hurt. We don't know yet. Tommy Edmonds had a little trouble staying on the field lately. Josh Young with the wrist. I think I might just take some stability in the infield and go with Cronenworth here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's do it. All right. Second team officially in the books. We'll take a look at your guys' teams too. If you do not want me to look at your team, I'm not like I'm going to grade it or anything. I'm just going to look at it and just see what you did. Let me know if you do not want me to do that. But if you're here, I'm going to plan on going over your team. So, the 20th round always gets really, really interesting. Like, I want to believe in Jordan Walker again. Extremely highly touted prospect, still extremely young. But the Cardinals have like 8 outfielders or 8 guys who can play the outfield. It might be a slight exaggeration, but only slight. So, like, I don't know where his playing time is going to come from necessarily. I would really like for Jordan Walker to stop hitting the ball directly into the ground. That would be lovely. So yeah, I don't know about him. But we are about done here, guys. Perfect. Let's look at the team we just drafted. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. And if you're here, hopefully you've had a good time here, minus my coughing in your face every once in a while. If you could drop a like, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments or anything, any feedback, please feel free to give me some. I want this to be a place that people enjoy coming and hanging out and drafting. Hopefully have a few laughs along the way. But I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out for a bit. Thank you. So let's recap my team first. So from the 9 hole, finished up with a 7-7-6 build. The pitchers are Blake Snell, Zach Gallen, Carlos Rodon, Sandy Alcantara, Robbie Ray, Nick Lodolo, and Merrill Kelly. Infield is Jose Ramirez, Tristan Cassis, Matt McLean, Royce Lewis, Tommy Edman, Josh Young, and Jake Cronenworth. And then the outfield is Fernando Tatis Jr., James Wood, Anthony Santander, Christian Yelich, Nolan Jones, and Ceddanne Rafaela. Hopefully I say his name right. I got to learn that. We're going to be better at that one. I like this team quite a bit, actually. I feel like the pitching has a nice mix of high upside, potentially tragic arms with a couple of like innings eater workhorse type guys. I really do actually like this mix of pitching. This is a fun staff, I think. Infield, they feel pretty good about that too. And outfield, yeah, I really like this team. I think this one's pretty solidly built, hopefully. Let's take a look at Crambra's. He was in the 2-hole. He went with the 7-7-6 build. Luis Castillo, Freddie Peralta, Bryce Miller, Mitch Keller, Nathan Eovaldi, Chris Bassett, and Bubba Chandler. Infield, Vlad Guerrero, Matt Olson. That's a nice little pairing. Christian Walker, O'Neill Cruz, Bichette, Perez, and Carlos Correa. And then the outfield is Aaron Judge, Riley Green, Mike Trout, Lourdes Gurriel at a pretty good discount, Parker Meadows, and Byron Buxton. It's a good team. I like this one quite a bit. This one looks like it's got a decent amount of upside. Carlos Correa is one of those guys that, like, I feel like we could look back at the end of this year and be like, why were we drafting him in the 20th round? Like, I don't know. He's got to get his foot figured out. Just somebody give this guy a new foot, okay? Just get on it, figure it out. Bjorn Masterson, 7-7-6 build. Michael Cain, Bailey Ober, Tanner Bybee, Taj Bradley, Christopher Sanchez, Nick Pivetta, and Shane Baz. Infield is Alonzo Albies, Vientos, Holiday, Max Muncy, Michael Busch, and Shea Langeliers. And the outfield is Soto, Ozuna, Rooker, Taylor Ward, Tyler O'Neill, and JJ Bleday. It's a fun team too. I see the vision here, you know. I personally am probably out on Christopher Sanchez just because I don't really see the strikeouts. But like, he's a solid real life pitcher. Crammer's saying we'll likely only have 2 healthy outfielders by May, but what if? See, that's the thing, right? The what if is what we care about, you know, because what if you're absolutely spot on accurate, you know? Who knows? And then real quick, because I think Robbie's here in the chat too. Yeah, I think this is your team. I don't know if it's not. I'm doing some random guys, but whatever. 7-6-7 build from the 4 spot. Crochet, DeGrom, Senga, Jared Jones, Sean Manaea, Walker Buehler, and Gavin Williams. I love that pitching staff, minus Sean Manaea. I'm not a Manaea guy. Probably wrong on him because he looked really, really good last year. But those first 3 are, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I enjoy that. The infield is Witt, Harper, Caminero, Pasquantino, Brandon Lau, and Yainer Diaz. I really like that infield. And then the outfield is Wyatt, Adolis Garcia, Castellanos, Helio Ramos, Josh Lowe, Evan Carter, Max Kepler. Yeah, looks solid to me. Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, drafting these contests is so much fun. Like, there are a few things that are obviously bad, like, you know, going with 4 people in a position, or like even sometimes a 5 is like pretty questionable. But for the most part, like, you just got to kind of have a vision for the team, I think, and you can will anything here. Bjorn saying, crazy to think the Dinger winner was drafted on the first stream of the year by one of us. Dude, what if? Like, can you imagine we get to the end of the year and it's like one of these teams comes out and wins the freaking thing, drafted on January 13th, a random Monday? Like, that would be wild. And yeah, just need to wait about 9 months to head to the bank. Yeah, easy game, right? Just lock it up for a while. I probably am going to turn my attention for a little while to the bunt for the most part. My plan is to kind of not completely backload the Dinger, but I'm going to wait a little bit to do a high volume because I want those projection systems and I want numbers and actual, you know, facts to back up what I'm doing. But yeah, you know, I'm doing a lot of 7s and 6s this year. My only 8 builds so far have been 6-8-6. Like, I've got an elite pitching staff and an elite outfield, and then I'm just trying to catch up at infield through volume. I think those 7s and 6s are definitely optimal. But you know, we'll see how ADPs and everything shakes out as we get those projection systems out. We're going to see some pretty wild swings. When we start talking about prospects, there's going to be some guys who rise, like Christian Encarnacion Strand, CES in Cincinnati. He was not drafted in this draft, but like, he's a guy I've kind of got my eye on that could rise. Noelvi Marte might be relegated to the nether realm because the Reds are obsessed with infielders. But like, it's going to be interesting to see who I haven't even remotely thought of clicking so far through 67 total drafts that just comes out of nowhere because of the hype train. So we got a long way to go until the season starts. Pitchers and catchers report in like a month, which is really cool. And this is really going to kick into overdrive. So I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Now that the dinger is out, definitely going to try to get some manner of consistency. But I love drafting you guys. I love chatting with you and hanging out. It's just fun for me to do this. So appreciate you hanging out with me. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do the next one, but it might be like a Thursday or something like that. But if you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter, X at WooWooJTrain. Easy enough. Like I said, if you could drop a like for me, that'd be great. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. But again, thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. And, we'll see you on the next one. Next Off the Rails. I'm WooWooJTrain. Have a good one, guys.